Alice, great to see you.
Good to see you, Carson.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I know Halloween was recently. Is it an extra crazy month for you? I know you're on tour.
It's the one month where, I mean, it's suddenly, Alice Cooper comes really right to the front of everything. And that's when our shows get really crazy, because the audience is now part of it. In a lot of cases, they're dressed crazier than we are.
Let's get back keeping Halloween alive. The response to the single that you've put out has been, are you surprised by it?
Yeah, you know,
because people are totally digging it, and they're like, Alice, like, make a whole record like this. I don't know if it's...
Yeah,
because it's so garage and fast.
It is. It's real garage, and I come from the garage era. You know, I mean, I'm a Detroit guy. I grew up with Iggy and, you know, and MC5 and Ted Nugent and those guys. You know, that's why I like the White Stripes so much, because they're real retro 68 Detroit garage.
Yeah.
You know, but to me that feels comfortable. I like that sound. 2 guitars, bass, drums, and a lead singer.
We went really like technical for a minute. You know, things got really, you know, I love even 9 Inch Nails, and at the height of sort of the industrial in Chicago, definitely in the 90s. Yeah. But we got so tech heavy that then somebody came back and said, I'm just going like, you know, Butch Vig started making all these analog records, and it sounds good again. And like Jack White's that way.
Kids are tired of buying air. They download something, and there's nothing to hold on to.
There's barely a record store for them to walk into and have an experience.
So I think that you're going to find a real backlash to technology with the next generation. They're going to want LPs.
Yeah.
And now they're even making now turntables for your computer, which I think is great.
Tell me a little bit about the tour. I know you just did a bunch of dates here in the States. It's a full theatrics. I mean, it's
back to Welcome to My Nightmare. Yeah.
You wanna feel at home.
The Theater of Death tour, I sat there and I said, okay, look, they've got us figured out. You know, we're touring every year. They know what the formula of the show is. They know at the end Alice is going to get killed.
Right.
Let's kill Alice on the 4th song.
Right, right.
You know, what? You're not supposed to kill Alice on the 4th song. Then let's kill him again on the 9th song. And then on the 14th song, let's kill him again. So they kill me 4 times in this show.
That's unbelievable.
And what they did, we kind of found 4 personalities of Alice. And when we're done with those 6 or 7 songs that's in that personality, we just assassinate that personality.
Right.
You know, and in the end, I mean, it really is a dark vaudeville. And Groucho gave it that name.
Right.
Groucho Marx came to see it and he says, well, it's the last chance for vaudeville.
Right.
You know, so I thought that might have been the best compliment I ever got.
The telephone is ringing.
You've been in the business for about over 45 years now. Let's talk about the evolution of Alice Cooper. There's really 2 sides to this character that represent your crazy time and your sober time.
Sure. I look back at when Alice was an alcoholic, and I was a happy alcoholic. I was not the mean, crazy, stupid alcoholic. I was that Dean Martin alcoholic. I was the guy that was always just buzzing and, hey, everything's okay, you know. I knew all my lines, never missed a show, anything like that. So I was this invisible alcoholic. But I look at Alice on stage, he was always the victim. He was always hunched over. And I realized it was the alcohol that made this guy the outcast whipping post boy for the generation. He was kind of representing the outcasts.
But they also like the strong Alice. I'm sure in your show now, you're showing a stronger side of Alice.
Well, it was when, as soon as I got sober, I looked at that Alice and I said, I need to destroy that one. Right. Now, what is this new sober Alice? And I said, he's got to be this arrogant villain. He's got to come out with a different posture and a different... He looks at the audience with disdain now. You know, he's almost like an Alan Rickman kind of character, you know, where he's very, very positive about himself and very positive. But he's got a funnier sense of humor now. I mean, he may slit your throat, but he'll slip on a banana peel. Right. You know.
And this is why you love Rob Zombie so much.
Yeah, and
Rob's got the same sense of humor.
He's got a good sense of humor. Rob gets it. You have to play horror against something. You can't play horror for horror's sake all the way through. You either have to play it against romance or comedy. And that's what makes horror work. You know, you can't just say horror, 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 because pretty soon, okay, yeah, I get it, blood. But if you play that blood against something funny, you know, something slapstick almost, or if you play it against something really soft and romantic, then it really pops.
Right. me get your take just on a couple of other sort of contemporary music things happening. A lot of big theatrical full records coming out. Green Day certainly had one. Yeah. For me, what came out was System of a Down. Toxicity was a record that was a really big, broad record with strings. Mars Volta came on top of that with a big record. What are your thoughts on where music's at right now?
It's, you know, I think it's always will be in a sense of flux. I think music is like a roller coaster. It just keeps going up and down and back and forth. And, you know, there's always the next generation always reacts against the last generation. So we had this strong techno, you know, powerful thing in your face. And then we had emo, which was just the opposite of that. Right. All of a sudden you had all these emotional teenagers, you know, which I was ready to just slap. Right. You're a kid, have fun, come on. You know, now you're going to get something else. Eventually you're going to get an incredibly romantic period. And your crooner is going to be the big star. Some crooner out there.
Like a Michael Bublé? Like we're talking...
I think it's going to be a young kid, and it won't be Adam Lambert, but it'll be a guy like that.
Right.
You know,
but Alice, you don't... Please tell me you don't watch American Idol?
I hate it.
One of the things I do want to mention is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, it's really just one of the great blunders of all time that you haven't been inducted or even nominated. I mean, what is your take on that?
It's so weird. I don't know how it works. It certainly isn't a popularity contest. It's a private club. I don't know the secret handshake.
But how is it possible? I mean, you know, it's not to knock Donna Summer or Dave Clark 5 or whoever else is in there that seems to be on the border, but I mean, certainly your long arsenal of work has spoken for itself.
And there's a lot of guys out there.
I signed your petition online today. There's still a petition you can sign online.
Yeah, I know. And it's one of those things where when I do get inducted, I'm going to send Pete Rose to accept for me.
That would be awesome.
Dressed like me. If you look at who's in, and you go, wait a minute, I've never heard of them.
Right.
Then you go, well, how's Steve Miller not in? Well,
I think, Alice, you said it best, and something I read is that there's people that are just now getting nominated that are clearly of the generation that were totally inspired by your work.
Yeah.
You've been looked over.
Yeah.
That's when you really know.
Maybe I'm overqualified.
What was it for you, your earliest memories of music that sort of got you just really into it?
My uncle, I was 6 years old in Detroit. My uncle came over one day, and he says, I want you to listen to this. He was a boxer, but he loved music. Sat down and he put on School Days by Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Up in the morning and off to school. And I was immediately doing this. You know, and I went, I love that. And then, of course, the Beach Boys, the Four Seasons, all those bands that could really sing. And then, of course, when the Beatles came along, that was it. I was 15. The Beatles were there.
Oh, you were that? You were 15? I mean, that was...
I was right.
Did you ever see the Beatles?
Never saw them live. You know, met them afterwards. You know, and then before they, you know, I knew John. Used to drink a lot with John.
Give me just like 10 seconds on John Lennon and your time with him.
John Lennon was one of those guys that loved to argue. I would sit in the middle between. He would sit here, and Harry Nilsson would sit here.
Were you the happy drunk and he was the angry drunk?
I was the referee between Harry Nilsson and him. He would say black, Harry would say white. Just to get the argument going, and I'd go, I don't care. I was Switzerland. I don't care. And he would try to talk me into this political thing, and I'd go, John, I am the least political man on the planet. I said, I'm there to take you away from politics.
Right.
And honestly, if I didn't sit there, there would have been a fist fight every night.
There must be times when you look back and you think of all these stories. I mean, you're 61, you're playing golf, you're touring the world, you're about to take off for Europe to support the Theater of Death tour. There must be moments where you really look back and go, I'm living a little bit on borrowed time here.
You know, I'm Benjamin Button on this level. When I was 30, I was 60. Right. Okay, because of the drinking and the partying.
Did you think you were going to die?
Yeah, I was pretty close. I was throwing up blood in the morning, you know, and the doctor was saying, I'll give you about 2 weeks. And you're going to go join Jimmy and the boys. And I said, okay, well, so I stopped. Now that I'm 61 and I haven't had a drink in 30 years, I'm 30 again. Right. I get up on stage and go, let's go, come on, you know, and I feel great. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And you have, I want to mention the radio show because it's just great. You're on all over the world.
Nights
on the radio.
with Alice Cooper. I get to play all the songs that don't get played, and I get to tell the stories, the John Lennon, Harry Nilsson, Keith Moon stories that you know, the people never heard before.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, thanks for your time.
Carson,
Best of
always
luck with
good
the
to see
tour.
you.
Definitely, thank you.
Great, man.
Happy belated
See you at the
Halloween.
Bob Hope, probably.
I'll see you on the golf course.
Yes.
Now is it